come here today not to plead a case for a victim whose fundamental human rights have been violated, but rather to plead the case that the death penalty violates the fundamental human rights of mankind. In my country, the United States of America, over 3,000 humans are awaiting execution, some for a crime they did not commit. I plead the case that the death penalty exposes the innocent to execution, serves no penal purpose, and commits society to the belief that revenge is preferable to redemption. Since 1973, 130 human beings on death row throughout the United States have been released from jail for being wrongfully convicted. During that time, over 1,100 prisoners were executed. How many of them are innocent? 3,309 remain on death row throughout the United States. How many of them are innocent? How many of the innocent will be executed? It could be Troy Davis. He's been in prison since 1989 in the state of Georgia for a murder he maintains he did not commit. In one of Davis's numerous appeals, the Chief Justice of the Georgia Supreme Court said, in this case, nearly every witness who identified Davis as the shooter at trial has now disclaimed his or her ability to do so reliably. 3 persons have stated that Sylvester Coles confessed to being the shooter. Coles had testified against Davis at the trial. Will Troy Davis be the next innocent person saved from execution? Or will he be the next innocent person executed? Does the death penalty serve any purpose other than to do harm to society? Some argue that the death penalty is a deterrent to murder. Yet more than a dozen studies published in the past 10 years have been inconclusive on its deterrent effect. Of the 4 geographic regions in the United States, the South, which carries out 80% of all executions in the country, has the highest murder rate. Conversely, the Northeast, which implements less than 1% of all executions, has the lowest murder rate in the nation. Even those who believe the death penalty can act as a deterrent admit that existing research has inconclusive results. While the death penalty inevitably executes the innocent and serves no penal purpose, the worst damage it does is to a society that believes it needs to seek revenge over redemption. The need for revenge leads to hate and violence. Redemption opens the door to healing and peace. Revenge slams it shut. A society that turns its back on redemption commits itself to holding on to anger and the need for vengeance, in a quest for fulfillment that cannot be met by those destructive emotions. Redemption instead opens the door to the space that asks healing questions in the wake of violence. Questions of crime prevention. Questions of why some human beings put such a low value on life that they readily take it from others. Questions that help us understand how to help those impacted by violence. Questions that take a back seat and are often ignored when our minds and emotions are filled with a need for revenge. The death penalty is a random act of brutality. Its application throughout the United States is random, depending on where the murder occurred, the race and economic status of who committed the murder, the race and economic status of the person murdered, and of course, the quality of the legal defense. The burden of proof in the courts of public opinion should be on those advocating for the death penalty. That burden has not been met. Just as Troy Davis.